So obviously, everybody knows what happened yesterday at the Trump rally in Pennsylvania, where shots were fired. Donald Trump, based on what we know, did in fact get hit. There were some conflicting reports as to what may have hit him. I will get more to that in just a bit once we get some more folks on here. But I do want to go ahead, preface everything here by saying this is not a place for hate. So I don't want to hear it in the comments. Keep it to yourself, right? Like I encourage comments. I want comments. Leave the hate at the door right now. Okay. That's not what we're dealing with. That is sure as hell not what we need. So let's get into what happened yesterday. And of course, the political ramifications of this, both on the left and the right. But I do want to start because I actually had just read an article early this morning, and then a follow-up to it just a few moments ago that said there were initial reports from law enforcement that said, no, Trump did not get grazed by the bullet. Instead, what actually hit him were glass fragments from the teleprompter. And that has now, I guess, been debunked. So it does appear that what did hit Donald Trump in that ear was in fact a bullet. In fact, when you look at some of the videos and photographs, they do, I guess, based on the reporting, appear to show the bullet. So you know, that's what we're dealing with right now. Still a lot of conflicting reports about what actually may have happened to him, but that doesn't change the fact that yes, one rally participant did in fact die from this. The shooter, of course, has been identified, a 20-year-old white male who just happens to be a registered Republican based on what's being reported. So that's kind of that, right? Now, yesterday, the news was buzzing with all of this, 24/7, basically. It all came by complete surprise. In fact, I didn't know it was happening. I was busy, just hanging out outside, doing some fun stuff. And a friend texted me and said, "Hey, what's going on with Trump?" So I was like, who knows on any given day? And so I had to pull up the news and was like, oh crap. Something did happen. But what I want to say is once this happened and we started getting the images, specifically the image of Donald Trump with blood going down the side of his face, where he puts the fist up and yells, "Fight, fight, fight," which was a horrible thing to yell. But that image, the still image of him with the fist in the air as the Secret Service is trying to pull him down, that's going to be the rallying point for conservatives from this point forward. And I put on social media at the time, I said, y'all don't want to hear this and I don't want to say it, but Trump may have just won the election today. And a lot of people don't like that I said that. A lot of people said, you're the craziest thing I've ever seen on Twitter. One person said. So let me make something very clear about the political fallout of this. When Reagan was shot by John Hinckley, Reagan's poll numbers were pretty bad. Immediately following the shooting, Reagan's poll numbers jumped up by 8 points, and it took a complete economic collapse for his poll numbers to go down again. So there is historical context of this. George W. Bush, when the Iraqi reporter threw his shoes at him, his approval rating went up. You want to go back even further? Teddy Roosevelt was in third place in that presidential race because there were 3 people running. After he was shot while giving his speech, he surged to second place. Of course, he didn't win the election because he split the Republican votes, so the Democrat won. However, there is historical context that shows us when a person, a president or a presidential candidate is attacked, their approval rating goes up. Now, you may not like it. You may not want to hear it. But just because you don't want to acknowledge it doesn't mean that that's not the truth, because that is what has happened historically. And I will say part of the reason I'm even doing this live stream today is because so many people got pissed off at me for saying that on social media. And it's like, I'm sorry that you guys don't want to look at history, that you don't want to see what happened, and that you don't want to acknowledge the truth of this. Now, on the same side, here is what we're dealing with. Republicans have now come out all over the place. Every horrible person that I've ever sat here and talked about has been 10 times more horrible than usual. Marjorie Taylor Greene came out this morning and said that Democrats trying to start a civil war. Right? She is painting a giant target on the backs of all of us. Okay? That is unacceptable. Don Jr. came out and said that now nobody can talk about January 6th anymore because of what happened to his dad. Lauren Boebert specifically blamed this on President Biden and his so-called violent rhetoric. Republicans from all over the place are blaming this squarely on the left. Again, even though the guy's a registered Republican, or was, he doesn't exist anymore. But I'll get to more of that in a minute. I do want to acknowledge a super chat here from IMS Project IMS. Thank you so much. It says, people are saying Trump just won the election. Yeah, and I'm one of them. And I hope I'm wrong. Like, don't get me wrong, folks. I don't want Trump to win. I'm pretty sure anybody who's a regular viewer here understands that. So I'm not saying, oh boy, I'm saying, oh crap. Everything, Trump was given the biggest political gift imaginable yesterday. Okay. Obviously it could have ended in tragedy for him, which we also do not want, but due to the way it happened, like he could not have hoped for anything better. He gets to ride that high. He gets to milk this for all that it's worth. And any attack on him, they're going to come back and say, well, he got shot in the face. I mean, he got shot in the face and walked away. I mean, how tough is that? How awesome is that? That's what we're going to have to deal with for the next 5 months, folks. And if you think I'm wrong, then you are kidding yourselves. I want to get to some of these comments. Here's Snowy16 who says, I wish you all had more confidence in the American people. There has never been a danger to democracy like we see in Trump. I have faith the American people will see that. Why? What have the American people done that makes you have faith in them? Trump was already polling ahead. Like, it's not like the American people were already making the right choice. They were not. So I'm glad that you have faith in the American public. I don't. And if you want more examples of that, go back through most of the last elections. The American people typically do not make great decisions. Super chat from Grandma Cindy. Thank you very much. Michael Acosta says, stop spreading conspiracies in the chat. I don't know who is out there spreading conspiracies. But yeah, please don't do that. Here's Clive Boyce says, Biden will win. I'm not doing this negative vibe again. Sorry, Farron, I disagree with you. That's fine. You are welcome to disagree with me. I'm not saying you have to agree with me. But if you're going to disagree with me, please keep in mind that I also provided you the historical context to back up my point. So do you have, like, what do you have? Like, I disagree with your facts, Farron. Cool. Present the alternative. Right? You don't just get to disagree with fucking history, folks. Sorry, you don't like it. I don't like it. But not liking something doesn't make it reality. Okay? And this is what has been pissing me off all friggin' day. It brings me no joy to sit here and have to report horrible things to you. But you think I'm going to sit here and sugarcoat it? You think I'm going to sit here and tell you that everything is fine and wonderful and Biden's going to win and, oh, we're all going to join hands and sing Kumbaya? That ain't going to friggin' happen. Okay? So if you want to disagree with me, feel free to disagree with me. But I brought you facts. I brought you numbers. You do the same when you're going to disagree with me. Okay? I am doing you a favor by giving you facts. You could do me the same favor. And I'm sorry for losing my cool there, but my God. Super chat here from Justin W. Says, hi, Farron, San Antonio, Texas. Since you live in Florida, I want to say to Ring of Fire and your separate show, help keep me sane. Well, thank you very much. I do my best. Again, it's not always good news. I don't get to sit here and tell you that everything in the world is wonderful and rosy. I'm going to give it to you like it is. You know what? Here's the thing. A couple of years ago, I think it was actually October of 2012, I was at a legal convention, and James Carville was our guest speaker. This was ahead of the election with Obama and Mitt Romney. James Carville comes up on stage and he gives the same DUI joke that he tells in front of all his speeches. If you've ever seen him live, you know which one I'm talking about. But then after he tells his joke and gets the crowd giggling, he gets real serious for a moment, gets down low like this, and he goes, "Do y'all want me to give it to you straight, or do you want me to bullshit you?" And then he laid out all of his concerns about the upcoming election between Obama and Romney. But I feel like these days, there are far too many people on the left that today would be like, no, bullshit us, please. Please tell us things that are not the way they are, because it makes us feel good. It makes us sleep better at night. Well, guess what? If you're being fed feel good information all day, do you know what you're not prepared to do? To fight back against the fascism coming from the other side. You're living in the fantasy world that I always talk about Republicans living in. Let's not be like that. And I don't think that's too much to ask, right? Let's get to some more comments. James Carville is a joke from Sid Leonard. Look, I don't disagree with you, but when he said that part, that stuck with me. And it's little things like that that do stick with you. I would rather somebody give me the unpleasant truth than a pleasant lie, because we need to know what we're dealing with and we need to know how to handle this. Jennifer Schwarzenberg says, facts 100. Thanks for keeping it real fair. No problem. Thank you. Nancy Chandler says, TYT is blue MAGA. I disagree with you wholeheartedly on that. In fact, TYT, the last time I was on it, like 2-3 weeks ago-ish, with Jank, he was actually calling out blue MAGA at the time. NK White says, I don't really care. And I think a lot of people don't care. Maybe. I mean, let's see. Look, like I said, I hope I'm wrong. Like, this is one of those times where I'm hoping that what I said about Trump possibly winning the election on Saturday is wrong. I don't want to be right. Like, one of the few times in my life where it's like, I hope to God I am wrong. That's what I want. And I will say too, because I've mentioned this in plenty of videos over the years, the American public has a very short attention span, but they have an even shorter memory, right? So because this is happening in July, there's a good chance that by September, everybody's already moved on from this. Everybody's numb to it because Trump will be milking it. It'll be in fundraising emails. He'll mention it in rallies. He'll mention it in interviews. You know, oh my God. And people will get sick of it. The question is there enough time between now and the election for people to get sick of it and realize that, okay, he's just kind of milking it. He's still a really bad dude. Hopefully there is enough time, right? That is what we got to hope for. So we will see. The only thing that will tell us that is the time itself. So, you know, we'll be there. A lot of people saying like, I've moved on, and that's great. Guess what? The media hasn't. There was a headline, a disgusting headline on The Spectator last night from Kate Andrews that said, the headline, "Today we're all MAGA." The hell we are? No. You don't get to go out there and stoke violence for 8 years with your incendiary rhetoric, your inflammatory rhetoric, your hate and your bigotry, and have all of that forgiven. But the media in this country, which, by the way, is why I say that Trump likely won, the media is already acting like, oh my God, oh dear, oh, we're so sorry. We're so sorry. We criticized you. Oh God, this is horrible. The media falls in line immediately with things like this. And that is the biggest problem with all of it. That is what is so hard to fight back against. I try to do it every day. There's tons of other folks that do it every day too. But when you have a media that's out there saying, today we're all MAGA, then holy hell, we got a big problem on our hands, folks. Another super chat from Dr. GTI16V says, thanks, Farron. Keep on keeping on. My wife has a t-shirt from the Trial Lawyers Convention from a few years back. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I do want to get some more comments here because these are great. Eddie Mendoza says, we've been talking about Biden being old nonstop for 2 weeks. Then this happened, and now no one is talking about it. Things can change fast. That is true. They absolutely change fast. So again, we'll see what happens. But Trump has this convention that starts tomorrow. And as part of that convention, he's going to announce who his running mate's going to be. Historically speaking, candidates typically get a bounce following their convention. Republicans, Democrats, everybody gets a bounce after their convention. So if we assume Trump gets a bounce from what happened Saturday and he gets a bounce from the convention, that's going to be a big bounce. Okay. So that could send him to a point where a lot of people start looking at the polls and say, oh, well, I guess Trump's running away with it. So maybe I'll support him. I'm not talking about anybody watching this. I'm talking about the people out there that are on the fence, right? That can't for some reason make up their minds between Trump and Biden. Those people could be swayed by the polls. There is an effect where that does happen. So that's another part of the kind of double danger here, is that you do have the convention bounce, you have the Saturday bounce, we'll call it, possibly a VP bounce, depending on which horrible person Donald Trump puts in that spot. But I do want to go back to just the issue of the conservative response to this. The responses from the conservatives, lawmakers, pundits, everyone, they've attacked the Secret Service. You got these misogynistic right-wing talkers out there saying, well, look at the woman Secret Service agent. She was ducking. She was going low on Trump because everybody else went high, and you want to take him down in a smooth, controlled motion, you idiots. They're attacking diversity, equity, and inclusion. They're attacking Biden, blaming him. They're attacking people like us out there in the media, blaming us. They're putting targets on everybody, okay? They're saying we're the hateful ones out there calling for civil war like Marjorie Taylor Greene said we are. Nothing could be further from the truth. Marjorie Taylor Greene is the one who has repeatedly called for a national divorce. Republicans have been hyping up the idea of a civil war for years. I talk about it regularly anytime one of those idiots does it. But they're gaslighting the country into thinking that somehow the left is the enemy, because I feel like at this point they want retribution. You took a shot at our guy, maybe we'll start taking shots at you. That is my huge fear from this, folks. I am not happy about what happened one bit. Nothing about yesterday was good. What that shooter did, what that little psychopath did, was put targets on everybody on the left. It's the biggest gift that Donald Trump and the right could ever receive. And now you contrast, obviously, those responses from the right-wingers blaming all of us on the left with the response from the left. Like, hell, all the politicians on the left are out there offering their condolences, calling for chilling all of the talk of political violence. It never solves anything, they tell us. They're the ones being civil and nice. And then when Paul Pelosi gets attacked, all the Republicans laugh their asses off, right? I mean, there is a party of civility. There is a party of true, genuine, actual concern. And there's the absolute hypocrites over there on the right, pretending like we're the ones stoking violence, which is obviously nowhere near reality. Let me find some more comments here. Black Cover 95 says, what makes blue MAGA anyway? I would say, like, what makes somebody blue MAGA is if you're refusing to acknowledge that your side has any faults at all. And over the last couple weeks, we've seen a lot of those people emerge on social media like, nope, there's nothing wrong with Democrats. They are perfect. Everything they do is wonderful. Nope, that's not true. Nothing anybody does is perfect and wonderful. Okay. Not you, not your spouse, not your parents, not your favorite politicians. Nobody is perfect and wonderful. And if you are acting that way, then yeah, that's blue MAGA to me. Super chat here. Thank you very much from Rogs. This says, Farron, why do you think a Republican would go after Trump? I don't know. I genuinely do not know. I can't even pretend to know the motives of this individual. Okay. There are conspiracy theories all over the place right now on social media. I am not going to get into those. I'm not going to discuss them. Okay. I'm not going to pretend to be inside that little psychopath's head. So I don't know if no, you know what? Stop it. Cause I'm already like about to, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I do appreciate your super chat. I'm sorry. That's just a question I cannot answer. Here's Serenity B. It says, you really think because he got hit with glass that he's fit to be president? When did I say he's fit to be president? Is this the problem y'all have? Like, y'all can't listen? I specifically said I don't want this to happen. I don't want him to be president. Shit, the last video that went up on this channel was me talking about Donald Trump being mentally unfit to be president. That didn't change. Don't put words in my mouth. It's going to piss me off every time. Super chat from Zeusmo, who says, is this a turning point in American history? I hope not. I hope this is something that is kind of quickly forgotten. I do think it's kind of a sign that, hey, maybe we need a little more security around these things. I mean, honestly, the fact that it could even happen, it was just shocking to me. So yeah, if it turns anything, it's like maybe put a little more security around high profile people running for the highest office in the land. Bohemian says chat getting called out by Farron, LOL. I don't want to have to call you guys out. I don't want to get pissed off. Okay. That's not what I'm here for. But I mean, especially like that last one, like you said now he's fit for president. I literally didn't say that ever. Like, that's going to make me mad when you're accusing me of saying things I clearly didn't say and ignoring all of the things I really did say. It's not that hard to follow along. I mean, sorry, I don't want to, be a jackass to you, but at the same time, like, geez. Samuel Lloyd says, Farron, I'm a conservative, but I like listening to you because you're honest. You've convinced me to vote for Biden. Keep up the hard work. I am floored. You're welcome. Thank you for that comment. I love it. Thank you. Like that just makes like all of this so worth it. That might be my favorite comment I think that I have ever received. Thank you. You've just made my day. You've made my week. And it's only Sunday and you've already made the week. Thank you so much. Stuttering Gamer says Angry Farron is best Farron. Yeah, I used to be real angry in videos when I first started this. Then I started to relax and just have more fun with it, laugh a little more, tell more jokes. So, sometimes got to go back to the greatest hits. So, that's what happens. Rachel Samuel said, I would rather hear the truth than be lied to. It's why I follow this channel and Ring of Fire since the Air America days. Been following y'all for 20 plus years. Thank you, Rachel. And yes, I love when people do reference Air America because that is something I think a lot of people forget about. I have been doing this for 20 years. So I know I look super young and wonderful. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, 20 years doing this. And so that's why when I do say things like, hey, this is going to help Trump, like it's not just some Yahoo that just started doing this last year. Okay. I've been doing it for 20 years. I'm pretty good at it, I think. But anyway, a couple of super chats here from Yes Me. Thank you. I know I totally butchered that name, but it says, always enjoy your genuine takes, but seriously, we need to get your microphone off your desk. Yeah, that actually is something, we've been working on and we want to. I'm going to have a new studio soon. I've been procrastinating on that for 8 months now, actually. And yes, when we do that, camera's not going to be here or there or anywhere. It's going to be off camera, I promise you. Another super chat from Kevin Slim says, I love how Republicans are all now against violent rhetoric. Remember Paul Pelosi? Yes, absolutely. I brought that up. And yeah, the way they reacted to Paul Pelosi. I mean, remember Donald Trump Jr. sent out a post on Instagram of a picture of underwear and a hammer on it and said, got my Paul Pelosi costume ready. Just sick little freaks. Margin Kekavosi says, I think everyone needs to calm down, vote. I agree. 100%. Like the way we make this not a thing is we vote. We get out there, we show up and we vote against Donald Trump. Cookie Fatty 666, thank you for the super chat, says, you have a Ring of Fire channel, why not a Walk the Line, Folsom Prison Blues, or Hey Porter channel? Sorry if you get this question often. I don't get that question often. But of course, you're referencing other Johnny Cash songs. I did not pick the name Ring of Fire. Ring of Fire existed for 2 or 3 months before I came to work for them. And then over the years, from being a researcher to then being a producer to then being a guest host to then being a co-host to then being host, weird trajectory, and I had no choice in the name. Fun fact, though, about Ring of Fire, they were originally going to call it Champions of Justice and instead went with Ring of Fire. So I think they made the better choice there. Space Karen, thank you very much for the super chat, and says, this is how brain poisoned we all are. This happened in 2016 with a British kid that grabbed a cop's gun to shoot Trump. We are conditioned to forget. Had to space to get past censor. Honestly, I don't even remember that at all. So you may be onto something. And again, look, I don't want this to help Trump. I do not want Donald Trump to ever be near Washington, D.C. at all. I would love nothing more than to never have to talk about him again. But the only way we do that, as the other commenter pointed out, is we go and we vote against him. We make sure that we show up in large enough numbers to push President Biden over that electoral college magic number of 270. That's what we have to do. Somebody says you rock. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I just saw a comment from Tyler Hackner. Says we got to vote. Yes. Thank you, Tyler. Always great to see you in the chat. And then, of course, the letter hack. Hell yeah. Letter hack says, do you think MSN will show montages of Trump's previous irresponsible rhetoric to demonstrate how harmful his own words have been leading up to yesterday's rally? Wonderful question. I'm going to heart that, by the way. And for the record, hey, if y'all are not subscribed to the Letter Hacks YouTube channel, go do that right now. Subscribe to this channel, then go subscribe to him. Hugely talented, hugely intelligent. Like, I love him so much. Matt Strackbine, great guy. The Letter Hack, subscribe to his channel. Will mainstream media run those montages of Trump's hateful comments? I wish they would. But I'll tell you who did. Jordan Chariton. Jordan Chariton on Twitter this morning, because I'm never going to call it X, actually put out a multi-tweet thread laying out all of the horrible, violent things that Donald Trump has said. His YouTube channel, by the way, is Status Coup News. So if you haven't checked them out, wonderful investigative journalists. But I think it would be very powerful if the corporate media did put clips like that together. They probably will not because, oh, that would be divisive. Oh, now's not the time, right? Just like Republicans say after a mass shooting, like, now's not the time. That's what the media will do. They'll give us a now's not the time type BS. But I bet the people at Midas Touch will. Like, they're good with that. They're fast with that. Hell, they may have already done it. But yeah, I think Midas Touch, if they haven't already, I promise you they probably got somebody working on it right now, because that's what they do. So listen, look, I think I've kind of said all that I can say about this right now. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, if you're not already, please do subscribe. You can follow me across all social media. If you want to get me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Farron Balanced. So I definitely would appreciate that if you give me a follow there. Again, give the channel a subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And I don't know that you should say give it a subscribe. So just kind of forget that I worded it that way because that was super weird. Listen, I hope I'm wrong about this helping Trump. But again, the historical data tells us otherwise. I would love to be wrong. I hope I am wrong. And I hope 5 months from now, I'm doing a live stream telling you, hell yeah, I was wrong. Awesome. I will gladly accept being wrong. It will be my favorite moment of the year if I am wrong. I don't think I am, at least not right now, but time will tell. Again, thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. I know you probably got better things to do on your Sunday afternoon than to watch me ramble and lose my temper a couple times. So thank you to everybody. Have a wonderful rest of the day. I appreciate it.